What to do if your child discloses that they are a victim of abuse? It is so misunderstood what to do in these situations, and I feel like it's because a lot of people don't talk about it. So I want to address this, especially because there are so many different forms of abuse, so many different alleged perpetrators, so many different circumstances, and it's important to talk about all of them. So I will take as much time as I need to go through all of that. So number one, do not ask a bunch of questions. It's very challenging. So the most important thing is that when your child discloses that they were abused, that they are able to discuss what happened to them with somebody who is trained to handle that kind of information, to address the kind of questions that they're going to ask, and to ask the right kind of questions in order to either be a therapeutic experience for the child, as non-traumatizing as possible, but then also assist in the criminal investigation component of it as well. So it's very hard, and I have actually been there, myself, so I understand. It's very hard when your child discloses that they were or think they may have been the victim of abuse. The best thing you can do, or as close to this as possible, is say, oh my goodness, that is not okay, that happened, or that somebody made you feel that way. I am so proud of you for sharing with me something that is probably not easy to share. And there are some things we're gonna have to do to, number one, make sure you're safe, and make sure other kids are safe, but also make sure we're doing what we need to do about this, because that wasn't okay, or this isn't okay. So it varies place to place, state to state, what would be recommended to do as far as who to contact. But most places by now, most states have what's called a child protective investigative team or a multidisciplinary investigative team that handle child abuse investigations as one entity. So if you were to call dispatch and say, my child disclosed abuse, I would like an officer to come take a report, and initiate the process of whatever needs to happen. They will come, to your home or wherever you are, wherever you decide, and tell, your child that whatever, they're going to do their part of it, but they're going to basically say, thank you for sharing this. We are going to set up a time for you to talk about it. And most police officers are trained by now. I mean, years and years ago when I did this, 14 years ago, it was like few and far between the police officers that were really trained to handle these things. So you would get referrals or reports that were like, oh, the police officer that responded to the house initiated the investigation and started conducting it. And it's like, no. But now people are really great about it. Law enforcement's great. They are such a good community partner. I know I give law enforcement a hard time on here, but I really do appreciate all of our community partners that I've ever worked with. But especially in child abuse cases, they're hard. So that's number one, you call dispatch, you have a police officer respond to your house, take the report, or you call CPS and, online, do a referral, on the phone, do a referral and say, my child just disclosed that this happened to them, and I would like it to be investigated, obviously. Those are the two, main channels. And I know that there's like discussion and controversy, what comes first, the chicken or the egg, especially in child custody cases where there's contention among co-parents, and it's such an area where abuse gets lost because one parent is blamed for utilizing CPS in a situation and another parent is blamed for not utilizing CPS when they're just scared to do it because their attorney said to or to not to. sometimes a child will give a disclosure or kind of a disclosure, or say, you know, this is weird, but I don't know what this was. And, you know, the attorney will recommend that the parent put the child in therapy and see what happens. And I think that there's a time and place for all avenues of addressing it, except for when the alleged perpetrator still has access to the victim and or other potential victims. So that becomes an emergency. So if there's an in-home perpetrator, or a perpetrator a coach, a teacher at a school, who still has access to your child the next day if they go to school. And side note again, for teachers who are getting frustrated with kids who aren't paying attention, who are extra sleepy, extra hungry, don't want to eat, don't want to listen. You don't know what happened in that child's life the night before. You don't know what they're up against. Just be kind. I'm not saying you have to tolerate everything, but just please keep in the back of your mind, you just don't know. I mean, the things that I've been through with children all night long on emergency cases, and then they want to go to school the next day, and then they show up, and then, you know, the parent gets a phone call or an email from the teacher about their poor behavior or whatever, and they send it to me. And as the, you know, current CPS investigator, it's very frustrating. So I would love to continue to press on for awareness in that regard. But what then happens is a multitude of things all at once, really. So once you've made the report, whether it be to CPS or law enforcement, it goes to a team of people. And like in Tennessee, it's called convening. You know, you're convening CPIT. You're convening the Child Protective Investigative Team. In California, it's like, you know, it's called a multidisciplinary team. And so you're engaging with that. You're setting up what's called a forensic interview. So I think what I'll do, because this is about 7.5 minutes, is I will do maybe like a different video for each step. The most important thing, I think, is to make sure you tell your child, I hear you. I am proud of you. I love you. I want you to be able to talk about this in the most healthy way possible. And there are people, you know, like if whatever your job is, if you have a job, you know, or you know somebody that has a job, and you can say like, look, you know, I work at a bank and my job is to help people with money. That's what I'm good at. That's what I specialize in doing, and I know what I'm saying and doing with them when they come into the bank. There are people who do these particular, who address these particular things with kids in a way that is so important. And I love you. And a police officer is going to come talk to you, because that's just step one. That's just something they have to do, not because you're in trouble, not because I'm mad at you, not because I don't want to hear what happened to you if you want to share those things with me, but because I want to make sure you are taken care of in the best way possible right now with this, because this is so important. And I'm so proud of you. You know, continue to say that. And then if kids continue to just share, the best thing I can say is, you know, don't ask questions. Write down yourself what you're receiving from the child, and then maybe find them a journal, depending on their age, a journal or something to draw or color in, where they can write down and express themselves, because there's going to be a lot that comes up for them. Every single moment is going to be different for a very long time. But that is how you should respond. It's very hard not to get angry. It's very hard not to want to lash out at whoever it was, but your child deserves the best chance at justice. And that isn't sabotaging the criminal case or the disclosure, and that's hard. So I hope this is helpful. Please share with people if they're in this situation. Hang in there. Talk to you soon.